My name is Mike Mahar, and I'm a producer on NBA Live 18.
So let's talk about what you guys are showing off today. You have a kind of new mode for street basketball, right?
Yeah, well, the mode itself is called the One, and within that, you can kind of take your career with your character in two different directions. You can, or both actually at the same time, simultaneously. You can take it into the league, which is the kind of NBA experience, like play for rings and championships, or you can take it into the Pro-Am experience, which is going through the Pro-Am circuit, multiple leagues, multiple venues, and trying to ultimately be kind of the king of the summer Pro-Ams. And you can do all that either by yourself. Pro-Am allows you to play co-op in some of our live events, and you can play multiplayer.
You know, one thing I noticed in the mode leading up to the draft, you have a player rating that changes in game as your points go up. You know, it's like
There's generally there's a teammate grade, which is its actual impact is a multiplier on the XP that you get, or RP that you get at the end of the game, which is essentially your cash and experience. So the higher your teammate grade, 100 being best and 0 being worst, the better. And what it also does, which we really love when we go online, is it rewards you for playing both according to your position or style that you pick, and it rewards you for playing good basketball, being a good teammate, not letting your man hit open shots, not going for rebounds, or it kind of rewards you for being a good teammate as well.
Yeah, I think it's interesting for people who may be new to basketball. It kind of trains you, like, no, this is how you're supposed to play.
Yeah, I mean that's the intent as well, right? Reward you for your successes and try to make you aware of your not successes. I was going to avoid using the word failure, but I'll use it. Of your failures on the court. And even what's even kind of more interesting is that if you and I are playing together, and I pass it to you and you're open and you hit an open three, I even get rewarded more because I found you hit your shot. And so again, it helps really bring together that concept of playing as a team, which really basketball is all about.
You know, and this series has been around for a long time. I was playing it in the 90s. Can you talk about which times in this franchise's history you guys kind of looked to for inspiration when you were coming to make 2018?
Well, I mean, one thing that's been a constant that the team, especially the gameplay team, has held through thick or thin for years is at least when it comes to gameplay, is the element of control. We obviously want the game to look amazing, animate amazingly, but we really don't want to sacrifice the control of you either guarding me on defense or me being able to instantaneously, when I want to, pull off a very specific move. We feel that rewards skill, it rewards control and mastery of your player, and that really is something that is a trend that we've looked past over the history of the product that we would want to pull forward into NBA Live 18.
What were the gameplay tweaks that you guys made? Like, it seems like the dribbling is a little bit more nuanced than it had been before. 3
major components, dribbling being one of them, in no particular order. One is the one-on-one mechanic around the perimeter, which the best metaphor I can use here is almost like a fighting game, where if I go left and you go left on defense, I've got the ball, and you cut me off. You'll be rewarded with potentially a steal window, but it's very twitch-based. If I go left with the ball and you go left on defense and you cut me off, but I immediately go right again and cross you over, and you don't go to the right, my right, your left, then I will either A, create a blow-by opportunity to get to the hole, or if I have a skilled player that has a great crossover dribble, I might be able to cross you up, break your ankles, and have you fall over. But ultimately what it means is it's skill-based. It's not based on chance, and allows you to really get up on defense and put some pressure on the ball.
I think that was what I really enjoyed about the demo I got to play today, is that it felt way more sim-like than arcadey, but it was still fun at the same time. It felt rewarding when I got a steal or when I passed to someone who hit a shot.
Oh well, yeah, that's great feedback and a compliment. I think that's the intent. We use the word authentic more than sim. We obviously want to stay well within the realms of NBA basketball, what you're used to watching, what you're used to seeing. But ultimately, if we do that exactly, and it's not fun, it doesn't matter. So to your point, there's a balance, and we try to make sure that those points that you highlighted that felt good and rewarding, we try to make them feel like that for the purposes of you saying, yeah, this feels like it's NBA basketball, but I'm actually having a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it's important to feel realistic enough while at the same time being able to score 80 points with LeBron in a game.
Which is probably realistic, to be honest, depending on who he's playing.
Oh yeah, right. If he's playing one of those lesser Eastern Conference teams, right?
Yeah, exactly. Except not the Raptors.
So, can you talk about some of the other modes that are going to be coming to the game? Like, will we be able to take our creative player into other modes?
Yeah, absolutely. Specifically for the demo, just to break it down by kind of order of how our players are going to experience it. The demo is primarily about you playing with your created player in the Rise, which is the start of your career. It really is where you get to kick off your eventual journey in both the streets, which is the kind of the Pro-Am career, and the league, which is the NBA career. So there's two places right there you can take your created character. You'll also be able to take your created character, that same character with the same progression loop, awards, unlocks, into Live Run, which is basically our 5-on-5 competitive mode. And you'll also be able to take that character to our live events or boss battle system, which allows like you and me to team up together with 3 others and to kind of take down in one game or a series of games a bunch of like unique characters for unlocks of unique gear and traits and a bunch of other stuff. And that's programming that we have going all year round in the product.
And I noticed you guys had a new loot crate system also. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the loot crate system was something we wanted to employ to add some variety and replayability to the gear. So basically, you're able to go at some, the most base loot crate to the most exotic, branded loot crate, and all the contents therein, and spend those points that we were talking about earlier against those crate to kind of target what you want, but also add some replayability because there is % chance that you might not exactly what you want the first time through. Conversely, there's also a % chance that loot crates can award you bonus items and legendary items just out of the blue. So when you go to unlock it, you might get double what you thought you would.
And players grind for this, or are there going to be microtransactions also that allow people to purchase these?
That's a good question. In NBA Live 18, we really want to focus on getting this system in, testing the heck out of it, and putting it out in the ecosystem without any of the barriers or encumbrances of actually microtransactions. So this is simply what you get is what you've earned, and we really like the ability of not letting people shortcut, being uber powered with money, or conversely, if you play in a live event where there's a new shoe drop, and you and a couple of friends are the only ones that unlock it, and you show up online, like everyone's going to be pointing like, where'd you get those shoes? Like, you had to earn them. I went and played in the live event. There was only 400 people that were able to unlock these shoes, and you were one of the 400. I'm just pulling those numbers randomly, but that's the type of ecosystem we want to we kind of want to create, and we don't want people throwing money at that, at least initially. Might imbalance it and may take away from some of the uniqueness that people have if they can just pay their way for it.
Well, not mentioning any competitors, but that's a key differentiator between this game and maybe another game that requires basketball.
Yeah, it's a differentiator between us and a lot of other games. That isn't to say that we wouldn't eventually someday introduce microtransactions, but I think it's important for us this year, in NBA 18 this year, is to understand how this loot crate system, you just listed off like 3 or 4 things that are brand new. It's important for us to understand how they all work together, how players receive them, how we get feedback from people, so that if and when we ever were to introduce microtransactional stuff, we'll have a really good idea of what our players think would work and what doesn't work, as opposed to just out of the gate, doing it without having that information.
Are you guys going to have a playable beta or a demo period before the game launches?
Absolutely, yeah. That's what we're playing here. What we were playing here today, August 11th. The demo releases that gives you the capability to play through the Rise, which is the create your character. The face scan app we had from NBA Live 16 has been improved, so you can scan your face, get it into the game with a mobile app. Play through the Rise. It will also allow you to play live events. I think there's 5 of them over the span leading up to launch. A certain number of live run OTP games, so 5-on-5, and then also unlocks the ability for you to play Cleveland with the Cavs and the Warriors head-to-head, kind of couch play. And there's practice modes in there as well. So that's a pretty meaty demo.
Can you confirm or deny that you guys are planning on nerfing the Warriors because the game isn't as fun with them in it?
Confirm or deny. Until we have the data that says that they need to be nerfed. Although I want to do it, if that's what you're asking, no, we won't. We wouldn't touch them. If a super team's a super team, but I would argue that there's a counter to everything, and I would bet you money that our players. Whether it be playing with the Timberwolves or the New Look Rockets, someone's going to find a way around or counter to the strength of the Warriors.
Awesome. And when does the game come out? And will we ever see this again on PC?
A good question. The PC question I'll answer first. I don't know. Right now we're focused specifically this year. We're focused really on Xbox One and PS4. The demo comes out August 11th, and the release date still is TBD early September for the full product.
And I know that you guys are focused on the One and the Rise and everything, but a game that EA made that everyone loves is the NBA Street series. Can you talk about any inspiration you drew from it, or any thoughts maybe going forward, or maybe just kind of including it as a mode in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I love these questions. We like are super passionate old school NBA Street fans. Without getting too verbose, the reality is for those users who maybe aren't aware of the whole Pro-Am Summer League circuit, for example, last night in the Drew League, which is a league that we have in our game exclusively, in the real Drew League in LA, Chris Paul and James Harden play together on a team with street ballers, ex-pros, college players, some high school players that are like top recruits. And one of the highlights from last night on ESPN was Chris Paul going between his legs like 6 times. Then he put it through his defender's legs. Defender almost fell over. And then I think he hit a step back contested 3. And then another play down, he did the same thing and threw it off the backboard, and someone caught it and dunked it. In your head, you'd think, well, that sounds like NBA Street. It's not. It's in the Drew League, in the Pro-Ams, which we have in our game. So there's a wide spectrum that is still completely authentic that we are offering in NBA Live 18 that allows you to do some of those NBA Street type things, but it's real world. It's not as quite. It doesn't have to be arcadey or cartoonish because it's actually happening like in leagues like the Drew League.
Awesome. You know what other system I think this might be kind of cool on? It's a portable system made by Nintendo called the Switch. Any thoughts about maybe porting this over there sometime?
The same answer applies. There's always thoughts, but the focus is for us, for NBA Live, is to focus on the 2 primary consoles to start and really try to nail those for those consumers and those players first, and then worry about or thinking about where the next, where we go next.